Hey, what's up everyone? It's Josh back again with another video to help you level up your business. Today, we're going to dive into the what, when, and how of outsourcing. One of the best strategies to buy back your time and grow your business efficiently is to outsource. If you've been juggling too many hats and wondering when to bring in extra help, this video is for you. Let's jump in. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Josh and Sydney, and we are here back again for another video to help you guys determine what and when and how to outsource in your business. I am an advocate, proponent, a fan. I don't know another word, but I love to outsource. Why? Because it helps buy back time. And like we discussed in our previous videos, when you are looking to grow your business, time is your greatest asset. It is your greatest resource, and you cannot waste it. You have to leverage it. And one way to be able to leverage your time is to invite and recruit other people on your mission, on your team, to help you with some of the tasks that may be taking up your time, right? And so optimizing your time and figuring out how to get more done is key. That is the key to growing your business, right? And so, like I mentioned, when you first start, you may be doing everything. You may be wearing all the hats, and majority of the time you have to. It's because you're growing it. You're building that momentum, which is nothing wrong with that, but you can only do that for so long until you need more help. Because as your business grows, so do the demands of the business, so do the needs of the business, and sometimes the complication of the business goes up as it grows as well. And so in this video, in short, what we want to do is just talk to you about, some things that you should be looking to outsource, how to outsource it, and when you should outsource, right? So diving in, the number one thing, that you want to do when you're thinking about outsourcing your business is to make sure that you're logging every minute, every hour of your day to know where your time is going in the first place. It's really hard to audit your time, to audit your calendar if you have no data. You got to have the data in order to optimize your system, your life, the business. And so the number one thing that you want to do is log your time. And the way that we go about doing this is we have a software called Harvest. And in Harvest, we're able to log our time to know what project we're working on, what task we're working on, all of that. So we can optimize our time and get our time back, right? So a question that you want to ask yourself is, how much is my time worth right now, right? How much is my time worth right now? And that way you can counter with things that come your way with, is this task costing me more money by taking, up my time, or will it be more profitable to outsource this to another person that I could either, contract or either add on the team? So, and when it's all about that return on investment, ROT, if you will, return on your time, is what you really want to be thinking about. And so before you can even say, is it worth to outsource, you got to know, what's it worth to you? What's your time worth? How much time are you putting in? So my number one, you need to be logging your time so you can even see if it's a good investment to outsource that task, or if you should be doing it yourself. Right. So what's the next thing that we have to do, Sydney, in order to know, if or how we should outsource something?
Right. The second thing that you really need to do is document your bottlenecks, which bottlenecks are basically, projects that can take a lot of time, more than probably they should. But that's why you catch them. That's why you document them. So even on Harvest, for me, I can see how long I'm taking on emails, emails to who, and on projects, how much time I'm spending on just even maybe creating content, anything like that. It's really good for me to document those things because sometimes there are ways that time just gets spent and I don't know how, and it's good that we document that.
Absolutely. So when it comes down to log, you got to log your time, but then right after that, you have to log the bottlenecks. That means you have to go into your time that you've logged and see do an audit. What is taking long? Like,
Yeah.
why is it taking me so long to edit these photos?
Yeah.
Why is it taking me so long to get back with clients? Maybe because you got a lot of clients, and maybe you need to either systemize or outsource how you respond in your sales, right? So the number one thing is you want to log your time. Number two, you have to log and identify those bottlenecks, because getting to the root of these problems will help you start to realize what you should outsource first, and when you should actually take that step into your business.
Right.
Really quick example is, you are doing great at your marketing because you're the face and you're putting in all of your creative juices, telling your story. And so you generate a bunch of people who are interested in working with you. You are doing great at sales because you're talking to them on the phone, you're telling their story, they're resonating with your message. You've done everything that you've needed to do correctly. And now, you got all these weddings, but it's taking forever to edit them all, and so now people are getting angry because the post-production workflow has slowed up a little bit and you have more to edit. So in that instance right there, it might be a good time for you to outsource your editing so you can still be the face of the company, bring in people who are interested in working with you and taking those sales calls and consultations so you can continue to book. So that's just a little example, but if you didn't track your time, you wouldn't know that, all your time is going to editing and you're doing less and less marketing, and you've realized, hey, I'm on less sales calls because why? I'm not marketing. I'm not keeping that steady influx of business coming in because I'm stuck behind my computer doing all of the editing. And so that is an example of when it will be a great time to want to outsource to somebody. So, and so now that you found yourself at that point, in order to take it to the next step and to have somebody else on the team, or even find different softwares to help you speed up your process and efficiency, you got to be able to systemize that bottleneck and fix the problem, which is the business, which is the system first, whether it's individually or for the team. You got to be able to do that first. And Sydney, talk to us a little bit about how we do that here.
Yeah, so Josh, had to outsource to me a lot of things. So what that can look like for you if you were the CEO of your business, emails, bookkeeping, any of those things that could take up just other time that's more admin work, that'd be a thing to outsource. Because he's out there grinding, and so am I, just in my own way. But one thing that I had to really figure out was how to systemize certain things that would take me a long time, because while I'm not outsourcing, I can systematically help myself. So when it comes to emails can actually take a long time. I never knew that. So what I like to do, for instance, I send you guys a weekly email every week to remind you guys that we have office hours going on. Within that email, there's 2 forms that are hyperlinked for you, like a personal message and all of those things. If I'm not on my A game and not just honing in on one task, or there's little things not around me, or they are around me, it could take me a minute. It could probably take me 20 minutes to link everything, make sure everything's fully intact for you guys to have the right information. And the first time I typed it up, I realized that. And then I thought to myself, if I want to spend time on helping Josh make this program better for you guys, even answering y'all's questions and engaging with you guys over social media to make sure we are serving you well, I can't take 30 minutes on this email. That's just it's not acceptable for me, at least. And so for me, I templatized that. And so I typed up the email. I made sure everything was hyperlinked in the right places that I wanted it to be. And while that's templatized, now I have that to send out to you guys every week with the system built to also send to new students if they enroll. And so what could take me 25, 30 minutes, depending on the day, now takes me about 5. And so that's a really good way too, if you don't necessarily maybe have the means to outsource, or you don't think that something needs to be outsourced if it's not at that level yet. It's good to look at the task itself and say, how can I systemize this? Can I templatize anything? And even within a weekly posting schedule that I type out every week, I've templatized that as well. And so now I'm just plugging in information to a template rather than trying to come up with it every single week. And it has optimized time so well that I cut down on hours.
Absolutely. That is great. And, You touched on a really good point in the sense of you got to be able to systemize it first yourself and give back that time. And so what I want to do also is share with you guys a couple of areas, or a couple of opportunities where if you're a solopreneur or, growing your business or just starting out, where you can outsource some things, right? And so where I would start, first of all, you got to be able to at least do these things yourself, to some capacity. Now, if it's a weakness, you need to have general knowledge and enough knowledge to know whoever you're outsourcing it to is not ripping you off, is doing a good job. And you have to know the KPIs to look for to know if, I'm growing in that area of my business that I've outsourced. That's first and foremost, which is why it's good to know how to do everything in your business from A to Z. I'm not saying you have to be the best at it, but you at least need to know the language, the concepts, and the goal of what you're trying to achieve. Because if not, then you're just handing your business away and somebody could ruin it and they would have no regard for that. So first, take personal responsibility and ownership before you outsource. And how do you do that? Through knowing what your expectations are and knowing the system, right? So once you've done that, some areas that you want to look at to outsource is, number one, your production. Why? Because that helps add value to your business, right? If you are shooting a huge wedding, you can outsource some of that production to a second shooter. Hey, I need you to get these shots. I need you to get this. So I'm not having to run around everywhere, and I can really focus on making sure the moments of the bride and groom are captured. That's one way. Also, post-production, right? If you systemize how you edit your photos, how you edit your videos, then you can say, okay, I need somebody else to help me with the production of these and running them through the system that we've created. We try to treat our weddings, our business like a factory, right? It's just put it on this conveyor belt, let it go. And the person who's working on it at this point is doing the same thing through each shoot that's coming by. And so that helps us get back time, and it helps us make a greater impact because we're serving more people. After that, you may want to look into your finances, right? I used to spend so much time keeping up with my books, doing my taxes, like to the point where I felt like I was a CPA. I was like, I can do this for other people now. I'll be keeping up with our budget, because not only is your time very, very important as a CEO, but your money is even more important, because if you don't have any, game over, right? And so you got to stay on top of those finances, but you also have to work. You also have to shoot. And so once you set up your accounting system and your budget, then it may be good to say, hey, I need help, and maybe I should look at a bookkeeper to help me keep my books straight every month. Maybe I should look at getting a CPA to do my taxes, so I could maybe even get more money back on my return and get more discounts or for my taxes for having the business or tax, so all those returns or whatever. So the next would be the finances part. You want to make sure your money is taken care of, but you also want to make sure that your budget is in place and you've taken ownership of that first, because if you give that away and you don't know what's going on with your money, when you go back to look at your CPA, you will still not have any money. And so you'll be frustrated. Number 3, after you've gone through your production, your finances, you want to look at maybe getting help in the admin area, right? With your calendar, your emails, all of that, because that takes up a lot of your time where you could be in front of people making new connections, networking, or shooting, stay in your wheelhouse. The goal is for you to be able to do the one thing that you're great at, as well as leading a team and your staff around you to continue to propel the business to leverage off of the gift that God has given you, which is your ability to take photos and capture moments. So those are the 3 places I would look first. And then after that, you would want to get into your marketing and sales, right? And so, but that's where I would look first. The production, the day of the shoot, or even post-production. If you're in heavy season and you can't get all those edits yourself, then into finances, and then into the admin side, the business side of your business. And so, that was the trajectory of what we followed as far as how we outsource as well. And so I also want to talk to you a little bit about how to know when to outsource. It's one thing to know how to. We've talked about how you should outsource by logging your time, documenting your bottlenecks, taking ownership of the problem, systemizing that problem, and then delegating that problem, right? So that's how you do it. And we talked about some areas to where you can look to outsource to buy you back some time if you're stressed right now. But now what I want to do is talk about knowing when to outsource, right? Because if you outsource too soon, it could cripple your business. It could really hurt you if you are outsourcing and giving off all your resources that you need to hold you strong, right? So sometimes it's not about getting rid of all of the work and delegating. Sometimes it's just about holding on a little bit longer and grinding it out. So this will help you. This little checklist, these couple of questions will help you understand if it's the right time for you to outsource right now. And so getting into it, number one, knowing when you are ready to outsource can look like a few different things. And here they are, right? Number one, you're too overwhelmed with your present work that you aren't able to look at long-term goals, right? As a CEO, you want to remain at the top of the business, having that 30,000 feet sky view to know and have that vision for the long-term plan. If you get stuck in the weeds, you won't be able to protect what you've built. You won't be able to take leverage of opportunities because you're too stuck in the weeds. So if you're overwhelmed with the present job or task that just keep taking all your time and you feel yourself not being able to move forward, that is a good sign. It's time to outsource. It's time that you need help, right? And number two, financially, you're able to, because you're working so much, you've taken care of your resources and your money. You do have extra to bring along help to help make sure that you can sustain all of the growth that you've brought in. So number two, you're financially able to. If you're charging your clients $50 an hour and are still doing work that you can pay somebody else maybe $25 an hour to do, you're shrinking your profit by 50%. But if now you bought back time that now you can work and gain even more business, then it makes sense and it works. So number one, are you overwhelmed? Number two, do you have the finances to outsource? And number three, your product is decreasing in value because you aren't on your A game due to the workload. This goes back to that example I mentioned. If you're at a wedding and it's a huge weddings, I don't know if it's RIP to huge weddings anymore with COVID and everything, but it's a huge wedding and you have to shoot everything. You got to go shoot the first look. You got to go make sure the room details are ready. Oh, they're about to be ready to walk down. You got to make sure the ceremony's set, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot. In this one, your workload is huge and you're not on your A game because you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. So in this moment, it may be beneficial to bring in a second shooter. In some cases, Karis and I, we have been the two shooters. We brought in a third and an assistant just so that we are at our best during that wedding day and we're capturing everything. Everything is smooth. Our goal at a wedding day is to be the least stressful thing there, right? And we can do that if we're in control, we're capturing everything, and we trust our team who we delegated to capture some of these moments for. If we have a plan, but that you can only do that if you know your workload, know your capabilities, have the finances, and have the vision, and knowing what you're expecting out of what you're delegating. Number four, you are turning away work to catch up on current projects. This is good and bad, but it really, really does not feel good when you're starting out your business and you can't shoot on this date because, I'm already booked, or which is why we came up with our associate program. We had generated so many inquiries, so many leads, and we had built up all of this, our brand and our reputation, and people wanted to work with us, but sometimes we were already booked, which I'm like, we got to still figure out a way because they want to work with us, or, we would be too busy from something else or whatever. But when you find that you're having to turn away money, you know, you got to figure it out. You got to grow the team so you can grow your capacity. And that's where we came up with the idea for our associate program. Now we're able to recruit other photographers, help build their business, to give them opportunities to be able to shoot amazing weddings. And we don't miss out on the opportunity to serve the brides. And of course, we don't miss opportunity to make more money. And so in doing that and grinding that, now we've been able to make that take that money, build the team, and serve even more people, which is what we're in business for. And so lastly, it may be time for you to outsource if you are not seeing much growth in whatever area you're looking to outsource. Like, so growth can be stalled because of a couple of things. Your growth is limited by your lid, right? So depending on how your capacity, depending on how far you can grow, you know, that's how far your business is going to grow. Now, I could take the business far ways by myself, but I can take it even further with a group of people, a team of people, and we have. And so if you find yourself, you know, stalling, that may be time you need to either grow or partner with someone or outsource something so you can double down on your strengths to kickstart that momentum to be growing again. So you definitely want to ask yourself, you know, am I in a position to outsource? And you have to ask yourself, am I overwhelmed with what I have to be doing right now? And to the point that I can't even see in the future. I can't make decisions that are in the future because I'm too caught up in the now. And then secondly, am I financially able to do so? Or is my profit margins in place? Do I know the return I'm going to get if I outsource this? What is that return on that? And then is your product decreasing in value because you're not focused on it anymore because you're bogged down somewhere else? And then number 4, you want to ask yourself, are you having to turn away other work to catch up with work that you haven't gotten to? That's a workflow. That's a systems issue. And then lastly, how much growth are you seeing? Are you satisfied with the growth that you are experiencing currently? And if not, then it may be time for you to outsource. So with that being said, you know, Sydney, kind of what's been your experience of you know, being on the ride of how we've been able to grow and seeing what we've outsourced and even how we've delegated to you to get these things done? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, being on the receiving end of outsourcing is interesting in the sense of I can see where basically, if you look at it like this, we're removing this here to put here to put something else in this place.
Absolutely.
Which is amazing to see on my end because now we can receive more projects and now we can receive, you know, different kinds of projects, whether it be commercials, book covers, other kinds of shoots, anything like that. So it's been cool to be on the receiving end of that and then doing that work. For me, you know, you guys, I could probably assume that when you start a business, that's like your baby. So you want to entrust it to really, you know, good people who are going to work hard for you. But I remember even telling Josh, like at the beginning of this year, you know, he had outsourced to me in the past few months, just, you know, admin work and a lot of other things that go into this business. And then with me systemizing it all, I just remember looking at Josh at the beginning of this year and I was like, my workload feels really light. I'm scared. Because, you know, business can be really fast and you can do a lot of work. But it's because we outsourced and we put systems into everything that we did. And it grew our capacity in that area so that we could receive more work, which is just a testimony in itself, too, because, you know, say he hadn't outsourced at all, say I hadn't systemized at all, I don't know that we would have been able to receive that client well and basically present her with all that we can do and then execute that in a very well manner. So that's basically, you know, on the receiving end of that, I would just say, you know, find people that you trust and do it because it's a benefit. And I've seen it, the fruit of that in this business. So we're able to do things like this and have a business growth program because we've outsourced and systemized and we're just going to keep growing. Absolutely.
That is absolutely true. And so, you know, what you said as far as outsourcing doesn't necessarily take away the work. Now it can if you are if your goal is to not have to work as much. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where we are in our careers, in our lives, in the businesses, we're outsourcing to do more, to grow, to fill that thing in with other ways to, you know, serve and to build the kingdom. And so Yeah, you wrap that up perfectly. And so, guys, with that being said, when it comes down to outsourcing, it does not necessarily mean you have less work. You just have more time. You have more
Right.
options. You have the ability to choose now where you want to play the game, and I always advise you play to your strengths and have those who are strong in the areas you're weak come alongside you and build you up, and you both stand strong with that. So when it comes down to outsourcing, don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. You got to take ownership of the problem that you're trying to get rid of. Time and time again in business, I have realized, I'll be the first to, well, let me just outsource this. I'm not good at it. Let me just get this out of the way. But then you hurt yourself in the long run because, that person, if they're not a part of your team, your core team or your staff, then if that person goes away, you're back with that same problem. You got to take ownership of it. Dive in first to learn as much about it as you can on your behalf before outsourcing that. That's probably the biggest takeaway. And some of the biggest lessons we've learned when it comes to outsourcing. We've been doing this probably for the last 5 years, and we've outsourced from to contractors to having people on retainers, so they're kind of like employees or staff, but they don't work for us, to having full staff and a team that we can trust and really invest in and build. And that's the best place, and that we have found where we've gotten the most growth and have grown our capacity the most. And so, but that first started with us systemizing ourselves, managing ourselves, making sure that we were doing exactly everything now that we are building up our employees to do, our staff and our team to do, so it starts with yourself. Take ownership of whatever that problem is that you're looking to outsource. And after you do that, I guarantee it's going to be so much easier for you to manage and to train the person who you have coming in helping you, or whoever you're delegating your task to. So I hope this was super helpful. I hope you feel encouraged to want to build your business bigger than yourself. At the end of the day, you want to build it bigger than yourself because you want to impact a multitude of people. And the only way that you can do that is by getting help. You can do some of that your own, but you're going to need help. And so hopefully this really broke it down for you on how to get that help, when you should get that help, and what you should do in order to do that. So we love you guys. Again, if you have any questions on this, don't hesitate to hop on our Q&A office hours every Thursday, 2 p.m., where we're answering questions just like this. If you have any questions on, should I outsource here, or who are some people I should outsource to for this, that, those are all very specific business questions, and everybody's answer may look a little different, but you can get your answer on the Q&A office hours, Thursdays at 2 p.m. Great. So with that said,
love you. See you later.
Get to work. Peace. All right, so if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you for watching. We hope this video helped you get a better understanding of when, what, and how to outsource in your business. Remember, your time is your greatest asset, so be sure to leverage it wisely. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more tips and strategies on how to grow your business. And hey, we'd love to hear from you as well. Drop a comment below and let us know how you plan to start outsourcing in your business today, or if you have any questions. See you in the next video.